Let's do it.
Sheila's ready.
Whatever the day is.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the rescheduled meeting of the Southern Shores Town Council. We should have met on February the 3rd, but we had this little storm thing going on, so we have postponed to February the 10th. And as a result, we have 4 of us here rather than 5 due to pre-planned travel schedule. If you would all please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. We'll have a moment of silence. Thank you. Council, we have a agenda in front of us dated February 10th. Are there any amendments to this agenda, or can I hear a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second. We have motion to second. All in favor, say aye. Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry.
I apologize.
Yes.
I do need to ask you to move the public hearing.
Okay, sorry. We had a motion, we had a second, but we're going to amend that to move the, somewhere in here it says this.
So it's
Move
the,
the public hearing from new business
To the March 4th.
to the March 4th meeting. It's the public hearing for ZTA 2506. So now we have an amended motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Everybody understand what we're doing here?
Yes.
Great. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. Motion carries. We have an amended agenda. Thank you, Cliff. All right. So on the consent agenda, we had the minutes from the January 6th meeting. Are there any questions or concerns about the consent agenda? Hearing none. Motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. Motion carries. Moving right along, we'll get into our staff reports from we'll start with the Deputy Town Manager and Planning Director, Wes Haskett. Good morning, Wes.
Good morning, Mayor, members of council. Have a brief monthly report for y'all, starting with January permits. There were 46 permits that were issued. They consisted of 7 zoning permits, 23 building permits, 14 trade permits, and 2 lot disturbance stormwater management permits. The total amount of fees collected by the Planning and Code Enforcement Department in January was $8,423.72. With respect to code enforcement in January, there were 2 warning citations mailed. One was for a zoning setback violation, and another one was for a flood damage prevention ordinance violation. And then lastly, with respect to the planning board, there are no applications that the board will consider, but they will be meeting February 18th, next Wednesday. That's Wednesday due to the holiday on the 16th. They'll be meeting here at 5 o'clock, and the purpose is for some training for the board to view some UNC School of Government on-demand planning and zoning videos. Any questions?
I have a question. Is actually maybe 2 questions. I've never seen these 2 code enforcement warning citations. Can you just give a little bit of context to both of them?
Yes, ma'am. The first one is a setback violation. There's a shed that's within the front setback.
Okay.
There was a permit that was issued. A site plan showed compliance, but it was not placed
Okay.
in the correct location.
Okay.
It is a violation, so they have to remove it, which the owners have agreed to do. The second one is an oceanfront house. It was a house built within the last 10 years, I would say, and the ground floor enclosure has been converted from non-living space to living space, which is a violation
Okay.
below the lowest horizontal structural member.
Very good. Thank you very much, Wes.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am.
Anyone, any other questions or discussion for Wes? Appreciate it so much.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Yep. Thank you.
Next, we'll hear from our police chief, Chief Cole. Good morning, sir.
Morning, Mayor, members of council. January 2026 police report. Let's see, we had 1,387 calls for service for January. Let's see, traffic stops. Officers conducted 56 traffic stops. They handed out 16 written citations, another 31 warning citations. You can see under the incidents, which were the crimes reported, we had 12 of those. 5 related to drug equipment. Under the criminal arrest, we had 6. Let's see, local ordinance, we had 1 parking violation. And we had 2 reportable motor vehicle accidents for the month of January. Any questions on that report before I get into some other stuff here? Okay, let's see. Flock. We have a new link. This is a transparency portal from Flock. This is already up and running. It's maintained by Flock every day. And then we'll keep up to date as far as any new things that we are able to solve or accomplish through it. But it's a transparency portal that is also, it's on the police department's website, and it's also to be put on the town's website as well. And it just pretty much, it gives you some of the success stories, and then at the very bottom, it gives the history of how we started with the LPRs. And initially, basically, it was the best way to count traffic for the cut-through issues that we were having. And then it kind of blossomed from there. But if you go up at the top again, it's pretty explanatory. All right, down a little bit now. And it tells you right here, what's not detected. It does not and cannot facial recognition, identify gender or race, individuals, pictures of drivers, occupants, speeds of vehicles. It just does not have that capability. And I think the important thing to see here too is prohibited uses, immigration enforcement, because I know we're going to get those questions. Traffic enforcement, harassment, intimidation, usage based solely on, protected classes, race, sex, religion. We have a signed MOU with the State Bureau of Investigation. We are in the process of getting a signed statement of an MOU with Flock, which will pretty much cover, and it specifically says that none of this data is sold to anyone. It is our property. The only thing that we can exchange with is other law enforcement that's already signed on to the MOU as well. So a lot of it is just education. This has been this way for a long time, but a lot of people just assume different things. So hopefully this is going to clear up a lot of the confusion and those types of things. And we'll have more information for the mayor's chat next week as well. But we were pretty happy to finally get this up and running. The data retention, again, even though our policy had initially said 90 days, we're going with the 30 days, which is what Flock recommends, and that's pretty much what the state said that they would be fine with it. We have 12 LPRs. And I will tell you that we had damage to one on Duckwoods Drive, and I believe it was intentional. Can't prove it, but that's going to be a costly thing to fix. But someone has damaged it, and we're in the process trying to get that fixed. And unfortunately, it doesn't take pictures of people because we probably could have got a shot of them. So anyway, several of us are going to be at the Duckwoods Country Club on Friday, and I don't know if anyone has ever heard of it, but it's been around for several years. It's a night to shine, and it's being held this Friday at 5 at the Duckwoods Country Club. And several of our officers we're going to be there in Class A uniforms to escort the guests down the red carpet. This is just a quick idea of what Night to Shine is, it's through the Tim Tebow Foundation.
I'm dreaming wide awake. This is the life I make. I don't need a holiday to make me feel this way. Listen up, take a chance, you can sing, you dance, you can live like there's no tomorrow. Give it time, make your find, there's a groove, there's a rhyme, move along, and the rest will follow. I want you to know.
I am so honored to be here, and I am so honored that you are here, and it is just such a blessing. God loves you, and He created you so special, and He has an awesome purpose and plan for your life. You are important. That's why you have a crown or tiara, because you are a queen or a king. And every single day of your life, that is how God sees you.
Oh yeah, we shine like stars. Oh yeah, we shine like stars, like stars, like we shine like stars. We shine like stars. We shine like stars. We shine. Here we go now. We shine like stars. We shine like stars. We shine like stars. We shine, oh yeah, we shine like stars.
It's just so cool to see how God works in people's life when we come together and we just love people. Thank y'all for being a part. God bless.
Thank you. So we're pretty excited. They've had it here on the beach a few times over the last few years, but this time it's in Southern Shore. So several of us are going to be in attendance and be their escorts.
Nice.
Might not be dancing, but I'll be an escort.
Will Tim be there?
Pardon?
Will Tim be there? Tim Tebow?
I don't think so. That'd be pretty cool. Just a couple of other things. Let's see. Snow, I called it a snow event. In 2006, when I moved here, I made a fatal mistake of giving my brother my snow blower and my shovel. So I had to buy a snow shovel. We got through it. I remember I forwarded it to Cliff because Cliff was asking, hey, how is it out there? And Sergeant Brinkley headed home about 4 o'clock in the morning. His report said, well, once I got through the 3-foot drifts on 158 going into Currituck, he was able to get home. But it was pretty good amount of snow for down here for all you southern folks that don't know what to do with it. But we survived. We got through it. And I appreciated all the officers that had to leave their families and had to come in and do their job. And they did a very good job at it. I had forwarded something to the town manager. And I don't know if he had forwarded it back to you, but Brick, New Jersey just established, excuse me, you can Google it. I know it's pretty radical, but I think it's kind of cool. They just passed a new state legislation law for e-bikes. And you pretty much got to have a driver's license to even ride one. You got to have everything. License, insurance, registry, everything. So they're hitting it head on. I've been told, we had a chiefs meeting last week, that they're picking it back up with the legislature. So hopefully we'll get something done this coming cycle and be able to get some kind of local legislation with some teeth in it so we can start enforcing some of the e-bikes before we have a terrible tragedy. And still working on the annual report. We'll get that to you pretty soon. And I can mention this at the next workshop that the council's having, but I just wanted to kind of plant the seed. The chiefs, we've all had discussions because this is the last year of our Motorola Flex CAD RMS records management system, which is still not very good. But this is the last year. We've been told we can't get a straight answer from Motorola on how much it's going to cost. All they're saying is it's going to be similar this following year, but after that, oh my God, we have no idea what it's going to go to. So we've formed a committee, all the police departments down here, with the exception of the sheriff's department, because currently right now we have no idea what's going to happen with the sheriff's department until the election is over, whether they're going to keep the records management system or whatever. So we have formed committees, each police agency down here on the beach, and we've been in touch with several other police agencies across the state to try to find out who's in a similar situation that we are in and who's using what they're happy with and problems and so on and so forth. So we're just in the baby stages of that, but that may be something that we may be coming to you as far as a budgetary item. I just don't have a dollar amount. None of us do right now, but I just wanted to give you all a heads up on that. Any questions? Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Chief Cole. Next, we'll hear from our fire chief, Chief Limbacher.
Morning, Mayor, Council. So as you can see, we've had a bit of a change. The feds have changed from NIFRS to NERIS. It's a way of reporting the fires in different categories. I actually kind of like it better. It fits more appropriately. I think it breaks things out into different calls, but breaks down pretty simply. Same way basically as it did before. You have your structure fires, which we had 5 of those. Hazardous conditions or gas leaks, 5 of those. Medicals, you had 27, and the majority of those were trauma, bleeding, and general sickness. Public service, it did break this out from the medical side to public service, which is lift assist, which is if someone falls out of bed or any type of fall or injury and they don't want to go to the hospital, we used to call it patient assist, so now it's lift assist. 13 of those, and then 3 emergency, no emergency, fire alarm accidental, and 1 canceled en route. So pretty simply 53 for the month, which is a little higher than last year was 43. So I hope that's not an indication of how things continue, but we did have our highest year last year, so we'll see how things go. Any questions on that?
Chief, I just have one, I'll give you a little context for the question. A friend of ours had an event, and it's a single older woman, and she found out that you can give the EMS people a number to a cipher lock on your door and or a combination to, let's say, a keypad on your garage.
Mhm.
And that way the EMS people or possibly the police department can get in and they don't have to break down a door.
Yep.
So I called and I went through a series of numbers that I finally got to the correct person. And I registered so that, if somebody is needed in my house, my residence, and I'm the only one there and nobody can open the door, that the emergency folks and or police can get in. And if we could possibly, get that number out to the citizens in Southern Shore, since we have a lot of people who live alone, and that I think it's just good policy that we publicize that so we can get to people quickly, and that hopefully prevent any sort of catastrophe, whether it be health, fire, police, or whatever.
Yeah, and we do, it's part of our Door Saver program. A lot of times on the commercial buildings, you'll see the Knox boxes those are quite expensive. And I understand people, don't want to part with $1,000 or whatever they are now. I don't even know. But I would say this, on our Door Saver program, we have something like that. It's almost like a realtor's box.
Yeah.
And we can sell it to them. We go install it. They tell us a number we wanted to program it, and we actually call the dispatch center, and that number is attached to that address, just like you were talking about. And the reason why I do the Door Saver program for the towns, I recommend that over the Knox box for a non-commercial building, is because then not only us, but the police and EMS also have access to it if they're there first, which a lot of times, obviously, the police are there first, they're on the road. So it makes more sense to me, and we're not doing damage, and it's obviously quicker. So the number is easy. It's 473-3444. I can put that on our website. It's not a problem. But
That's great. I mean, I just don't know how many folks know about it. And, so it's kind of the program's there, but, we possibly publicize it a little bit better to the citizens of Southern Shores.
I can write something up and we'll give it to Cliff to put in the next newsletter. It'd be good. It's fine. Absolutely.
Good idea.
Any other questions before I get to the other stuff I have here? A couple other things. So the reports, they're not pulling out our smoke detector, door saver, beach wheelchair, or address sign program, which we're working on with our RMS to incorporate, so it'll break it out so you can actually see that on the list. So hopefully next month we'll have that. I'm not going to give you a guarantee because sometimes it's slow going. I'm definitely not a tech guy, but so we're working on that. The captains are going well. I think the training with them is extremely well. I think they're buying into it. And generally, the population at the fire department, they've meshed pretty well, which I was very worried about. So I think that's going well. I don't really think it'd be going any better at this point, so I'm pretty happy with that. The snow, we had approximately 14 people in the station overnight, Saturday into Sunday, and obviously had chains on one of the fire trucks because I was worried it was going to get too deep. We didn't have to take that truck out. We were able to take the regular engine out because it wasn't that deep when we did, but we were definitely prepared if we needed to. I don't know if Cliff showed that picture with you. I share it with him. If not, I can shoot it to an email to tell all of you, but I guarantee you not too many people on the Outer Banks have seen a fire truck with chains on it. But the other thing was my daughter actually works with the special needs kids in the school system, and one of them actually asked her to go with them to the Night to Shine. So I think it's going to be a pretty cool thing. So obviously both my daughters are in the schools, so you already know that, but I'll probably be there as well. The last thing, I promised you that I would show you the cameras. We did finally get it all straightened out, and it wasn't necessarily me. It's a certain program they use with a little cone that plays it, so it should play pretty well. Don't make a liar out of me, I hope, but we'll just show you. I'll just try and be as quick as I can here, but I'll give you a little gist of why I wanted them and what it's for. So this first one will be just general, and I don't want to have it too loud here, but what did you do here, Sheila? Oh, I opened it wrong. I'm sorry. I was like, holy cow. Hold on, I got a other click on it. Sorry. This is what happens when you let me do this. I got it now. Open with the little traffic count. All right, we got it now. So this is just showing, and the reason why I wanted to do this is more or less liability protection. I'm not going to bore you with the whole trip here. I'll just give you a little treat that something you can see going here. Typically, it is audio in the front, and this is just given the guys are talking back and forth, giving directions on the back crew, and you can see it's really loud in there, so it's really difficult to hear, but the officers getting the conditions on the fire ground and relaying it back to the guys in the back. So, and this was just a car fire up on Hillcrest and Waxmore. We'll get there in a second here.
Stop here.
So it's just the general idea when you pull up and what's going on. They're going to drag that front bumper line off. This was a pretty easy thing, and the good thing about a car fire is most of the time there's nothing really to say because nobody wants a car back after it's been on fire. But anyway, so we can go to the next one. And this is the view out the front windshield. And there's 6 cameras in all on all the big apparatus. And that covers front and back, left and right, staring down the side of the truck. And in a general view of the scene. And I did the scene thing for training and for investigative purposes for us and as well as the police department. But just a general, we'll pull this up to see what you can see here. And this is at 609. Oh my God. Sorry. I didn't claim to be anything with tech, so. This is the one staring down the side of the truck. So you're just basically seeing when they pull up here, that's basically what they're seeing. So, and it's just really the granted, I went with the scene just for me because I like to have the ability to go back and look, because a lot of times you'll miss things, but really it's just liability. And I'm sure that, unfortunately, that's the world we live in. So that's where we're at. But this just gives the last view. It's the view of like the scene on something. So I'm going to go to 608 again. So this is just going to pick up the crew and what they're doing. And we use this generally for training purposes, or like I said, not much to investigate here. We know what happened here, but you just get the crew stretching a line. And, it might seem like a long time when you're watching a video, but really it was like 40 seconds or something before they had water on the fire. So, and you're stretching a line. They got to put their air packs on, because you'll see once they start, the smoke gets kind of heavy once Addison starts hitting it. You obviously wouldn't want to be in that without respiratory protection on. So, and just real quick, we'll give you a little taste of the other one. This is a structure fire in Lower Currituck, and let me see. Let's go. Oh my goodness. This is just out the back, and the reason why some of it's important for showing training wise, I'll show you when they get there. This is actually when they're pulling up and their orders are to lay in a supply line for them. And the reason it's important, not like I said, for liability, but a lot of guys, we have volunteers and they have great hearts, but everybody can always we can all do the job better, right? So this is just a way to go back to training. You'll see one of our newer guys, Frank, get out here and grab a 5-inch and wrap the hydrant, and then Chris will pull off. But so again, remember, that's not your average garden hose, so it's it's kind of heavy, but you'll see Chris pull off in a minute. So if you never, I don't know if you ever saw that layout, but that's how it's pretty much done. So, and he lays all the way up to this. We probably had 600 feet off. So don't be the second engine in is the lesson here. Be the first engine, and then they're not laying 500 feet of 5-inch, because you got to pick all that back up later and put it back on. You can see it's kind of tight in here, so the driver's got to really, be careful, know what he's doing. You got to lay that down so people can get by it normally. This is a pretty tight street, and this actually happens to be across the street from someone's house we all know. But anyway, so let me see here. Oh my goodness, I can't get it straight. So this is just them pulling up. Can't really see much of the fire, but it's off to the right here. And this is just basically them supplying 13 and Currituck too. So the last one I have is just an example of, and this is out of my car from the snowstorm, which doesn't really mean much, but I just thought it was interesting to you to see that, our people, the police and fire department, are out doing things all night long that, while you're sleeping, which is how you're supposed to be living, just doing your thing and not worrying about what's going on, because we got you taken care of. So, but just to show you what it was like that night, because I tell you what, I never ever experienced this. This was Ocean Boulevard. This was an electrical problem up on Ocean Boulevard at 3:17 in the morning. So you can see when I get around the corner, I can barely see past the hood. I'm not even using the lights because it's pointless. There's nobody out, so it doesn't really make a difference. But you can barely see in front of the hood when you're going here. And then when you get up to where I meet up with Tucker, I mean, it literally was blowing so hard I could barely even talk to him. I mean, you're only going 15 miles an hour. It's pretty rough going. So just while you're all sleeping, we always taking care of business as we always do. And we're lucky. We obviously work well together. So that's Tucker in front of me, one of the police guys. And you can see actually when I pull up, you can barely even see his truck. Might be the next one. No, anyway, you get the message. But so, I mean, is there any questions? And again, that was something that I've worked on with Cliff, and luckily he saw the value in it and gave me the ability to do it. So it was kind of expensive, but I think it would be worth it. God forbid if we ever have any problems, we have something to know what our people saw, not 10 views of someone's phone, because I don't care what they saw. It doesn't matter. It only matters what the driver saw and the officer. That's what's important, because that's how decisions are made. Same as you would do with body cam. I'm sure he doesn't care about everyone's view. He needs to know what the officer shot, because that's what the ability is. When you're making a decision, you're based on what you saw, not what someone else saw. So,
That's great.
any questions?
Thank you. Great demo.
I get any extra for knowing how to work that? It took a little while, but
It'll all be easier when we get that smart podium. as Sheila-
maybe a smart fire chief. I don't know, one or the
Yeah,
other.
We're going to all be able to drive it. Thank you. Thanks, Chief. Next, we'll hear from our town manager. Good morning, Cliff.
Good morning. Thank you all. I had three things on under my report that I wanted to mention. First, the RCCP, and to let you know, the community action team that was formed to provide the targeted input and champion the efforts of the Resilient Coastal Communities Program is making good progress in the first two meetings. The next meeting is scheduled for February 27th. And as a reminder, the RCC, the purpose, as you all know, is to involve the community in setting coastal resilient goals. And so some of the things that have been reviewed so far, discussion items, there's been a review of all the various reports provided to the town over the years. There's been discussion of setting the vision and goals, as well as a vision statement, list of locally driven goals, and we refer to the land use plan for a lot of this for consistency purposes. We've discussed public input's a really important part of this, and so we've discussed the potential community outreach event that we need to hold so we can get some input from the public. We've listed the critical facilities, everything from the water tower at the elementary school to EMS station at East Dogwood. And the CAT is the abbreviation for the Community Action Team. We have a champion now, and that's Lori Trewinski. She'll kind of be heading those efforts for the outreach. At the next meeting, we'll continue to talk about the vision and goals, critical assets, community outreach, and a vulnerability assessment. Once we get that report, then we'll be in line to be able to start applying for funding to implement the plan. So progress is continuing there. Any questions before I go to? Okay. Also, you've received talk about the seagrass accumulation. You've received some emails from property owners abutting the sound, I think primarily in the northern end of town, about the very large accumulation of seagrass. And so kind of where I see the town's role in this is to be able to provide information to the citizens and the property owners and maybe facilitate a gathering so folks can have a Q&A. But I've reached out to several different state agencies. I've gotten some good information from CAMA. What they're considering to be a potential cause is based on the higher, and I realize higher than average seasonal temperatures, excluding the last maybe couple of weeks. Over the past 3 years or so, it's caused the submerged aquatic vegetation to experience extended growing seasons. And so that's resulting in the noticeability of a larger biomass. Higher than average water temperatures during and following die-off likely contributed to the large amounts of dead vegetation. CAMA will allow property owners to remove this without a permit, provided that there's no disruption to the seafloor, to the sound bottom, and we can talk about this when we assemble. You might remember Dr. Robert Richardson. He's the aquatic weed specialist at North Carolina State University. He's agreed to come and provide some information at a community meeting that we would hold separate from a council meeting. It would be kind of a Q&A, community town hall type meeting that we're going to try to get together. There is most folks probably won't see the value in this seagrass, but there is a benefit. Some property owners abutting the sound might appreciate from these mats, and the mats that wash up, they tend to act as a natural erosion barrier by breaking crashing waves, and it also helps, the roots will help spread and it'll help fight against erosion, and it can even lead to accretion. So there is some value, but I think it's probably hard for the property owners to find the value in this large accumulation of grass. So point is, we're monitoring it. We've taken pictures. It's kind of frozen in place right now, but we're going to continue to try and get some information out there and maybe help these folks learn what it is and learn how to remediate it. Let's see. Then you've got on your March 4th council meeting, after that, you've got a workshop scheduled. I wanted to ask you all to start thinking about what items you would like to have discussed at that retreat so staff can get the backup and information in place. Some things I'd like to ask you to consider is a discussion on streets, kind of a broader look at the streets. We've had about 4 years in now of our street improvement program. We'll talk here in a minute about East Dogwood, which kind of deviates from that, but we need to get back. We need to, I think, kind of reassemble that plan and get your blessing on moving forward with that. At some point, we're going to have to address future staffing at the fire department, and I'd like to discuss how we go about doing that. There's possibility for the addition of additional police K-9, something I think we can talk about at that retreat. We've got some things that we've noticed through the recruiting of the fire captains that we'd like to, that's really been brought to our attention regarding health insurance, primarily the cost of health insurance for family coverage. So we'd like to talk about the cafeteria plan and any other things you may want to put on that agenda. Those things could take some time, so I want to make sure we're cognizant of time as well. And then lastly, for me, I do just want to thank all the staff that put forth the extra effort for the snowstorm. Police and fire always are, first and foremost, and appreciate the work that they do. It is dangerous out there. I mean, any cause can be potentially dangerous just from the conditions. So I appreciate that. I appreciate Public Works coming out and trying to get the streets clear as much as they could. We're not equipped. It's not what we do. It seems like it's becoming more of an annual experience, but I do appreciate them, and right down to Bonnie coming in on that Monday to make sure we all get paid. So thank you to all the staff. Any questions?
Just one about the grass. One of the significant property owners that have soundfront property is the Civic Association. So I think it would be appropriate to make sure we invite them, communicate with them about what educational opportunities we have.
Okay, will do.
And remind me the name of the aquatic grass specialist.
His name's Dr. Robert Richardson. He's the co-chair of the Weed Science Program in the Crop and Soil Science Department at NC State.
And he's the same gentleman that
Talked
zoomed
about
in
milk.
a few
Right,
years
did the
ago.
Zoom.
He talked to us about the milfoil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the different remediation strategies. et
That's
cetera,
correct.
et cetera.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Cliff.
Just one question, sorry.
yes, sir.
I'm sorry. Could you just go over the status of hiring the administrative slash PA
Yes, sir.
person? I know you sent something out to us, but perhaps.
Last week, we interviewed 2 candidates. We went through an assessment. We had the usual sit-down interview style questions. We also put them in front of this podium, had some folks that sat in your role, and they made some presentations. And so this helped us to assess. We have another one tomorrow, and we hope to make a decision by the end of the week.
Yeah, and just to follow up, generally speaking, just a few words about how you describe this particular position in terms of their duties. What did you guys come up with?
So this person will serve as the public information officer and have some the administrative assistant duties. They'll be at the front desk, answering the phone, doing those type of administrative things, but then also focusing on getting the message out about, the snowstorm, what we're doing, how we're preparing, what folks can expect, those types of messages. They'll be very involved with the Joint Information Group during hurricanes and, work to promote us on all the various social media platforms as well.
Okay.
So we're excited to have this first. I think we're the last, and it'll be our first PIO position here in the town.
Very good. Thanks, Cliff.
Thank you.
Okay. Next, we'll hear from our town attorney. Johnny, welcome.
Thank you very much. We don't have anything to report this month.
Okay, that's always good. Next on our agenda is general public comment. I think we've had some folks sign up. Thank you, Chief. Mr. Jeff Hummel. Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning, all. I just want you to know, I like the level that last year snowed better. When the guys building the bridge actually helped me shovel my driveway.
I bet.
This year I hurt my back, so my wife had to do it. This is exactly the same thing I emailed you guys last night. The front is the one that's called summary, the one on the back is summary details, and the larger one is more about. Well, since the other guy's not here. I want you to keep it if you need it. I emailed him.
So just for the record, Jeff, tell us who you are and where you live.
Jeff Hummel. I'm at the 50 Juniper Trail, basically right at the bridge, kind of on the southeast corner up the hill a little bit. I've been following the bridge since the beginning with a lot of help from Cliff. Thank you. Try to stay as involved as I could without being a nuisance. And that's why you haven't seen me since the night you guys picked the design for this thing. And the reason I'm here this time is if you look at this front page, there are kind of 4 outstanding issues in my mind. First one, Cliff's taken care of, or at least he told me he's probably taken care of. The second one, he's also told me he's taken care of. We can talk about them if you'd like more. But the next 2 are the ones that are a little more important. And you can see essentially I'm here because of the response from Cliff on those 2. One that says, oh, when you need to get in your backyard, let us know. We'll figure out how to do it. That's my paraphrase. And the other one basically says, what's in place is staying there now until the town council tells me to do something about it. So first one, the yard access. There is only one way to get into my backyard, and that's right down the side of my driveway where the bridge is. Right now is about what's there right now? About a 6 or 8 foot spot. And I had asked for it to be about 11 foot, just in case we need to get a heavy piece of equipment back there. Just before we started the bridge, I was working on my house, and I had people back there for bulkhead work and foundation work, and they were going down that way. So I'm concerned if something happens a Friday night, a Saturday, when a tree falls through my roof in the back, I'm stuck. And I got to wait till Monday to call. And then what are you going to do? How are you going to take the guardrail out then? So that's one concern, is to open up that thing. And the other thing is just the general look of the guardrails, which I've been harping on since day one. I think you all had an email. I know you all had an email from me when I said fears realized as soon as they started putting those in. If you look at the back side of this piece of paper I gave you, towards the bottom, I went ahead and reached out to NCDOT to say, hey, guardrails, bridges, I'm curious to know what exists. And the whole bottom half is kind of excerpts from essentially an online response I got from them. And the underlined section there says basically, yeah, you know, there's standards, and this build was built to standards. This bridge was built the way they build every other bridge. But as it shows there, you can do other non-standard items as long as they meet the safety requirements. The big safety requirement is this TL rating, TL2, 1 through 6 or something like that. TL2 is about 25 miles an hour, which is what ours would be. Our rails are TL4s, which is what you put on a highway for 55 and 60 miles an hour. So since day one, basically, I've been trying to make sure we get something in there that looks good. It does not. My goal, my hope, is you guys find a way to get these things replaced. I've been asking for it since day one. If you look through this, you can see multiple places where we've hit Kimberly Horn to say, oh yeah, we're looking at it. Oh yeah, we're looking at it. And it didn't get looked at or never got responded to. So, willing to answer any questions you'd like. Otherwise, I'll slink away.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Appreciate your time. All right. Next on our agenda is first item under new business, because we have no old business. Cliff, you're going to start us out talking about East Dogwood.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. So the project, the East Dogwood project was bid formally. We received 3 bids, which were open on January 9th. The bidders were responsive and responsible, and we received from Fred Smith, Barnhill, and Whitehurst Sand Company. Barnhill was the low bidder with a bid of $793,400. And just as a reminder, the project length is pretty much from the Dick White Bridge to around the toe of the hill going east. And so this was because of all the dips and undulations and potholes and so forth. This is a pretty extensive project with substantial amounts of layers of stone and asphalt. So with the 700, as you know, we budget $1 million annually for street work. And this is, again, a deviation from what we've normally been doing. We've been able to overlay as many as 3 miles of streets in a fiscal year. This project really obviously puts kind of the brakes on that. So we've worked with the low bidder, who's been very receptive to some changes, and we arrived at the recommendation that's found in your packet. We could reduce the length of the project, overlay that. That would accomplish the intent, which is to level out East Dogwood. And then by doing that, there'd be some additional savings that we could tackle streets that are on the list in adjacent to East Dogwood. In this case, what's recommended is Bayberry. But you may also want to consider we could let a contract $639,698, which would, again, shorten the length of the project, built exactly as it was designed, and overlay the easternmost 500 feet instead of doing the full depth rebuild. And again, that would accomplish the purpose. And then at the retreat, to have a broader discussion about how best to spend the remaining funds in this year's budget. If we did the East Dogwood project for $639,698, that would leave approximately $330,000 remaining this fiscal year, and that could accomplish that's a amount that we could put out to bid for additional overlays to kind of a small version of what we have been doing. So that's really where I'd like to see us go with this. And what I'm truly recommending is the ability to let a contract for that amount as I've described. And again, there could be the ability for change orders to this project if after your discussion, we look at what's left on the list and there's some streets in this area that may be the ability for a change order, but it may be best just to let the full $330,000 for overlay.
Okay. Any questions for Cliff?
Well, you probably know a lot more about
I was
this.
just, if we're gonna allow you to enter the contract with the bid price, does that still give you the flexibility to reduce the scope rather than limiting you specifically to $706,000?
Can you speak to the microphone, sir? I'm sorry. I can't even hardly hear you.
cannot.
Sorry.
I'm freezing. I'm trying to stay
Trying to
warm.
stay warm. Do you want my coat? I can give you my
I
coat.
might need your coat. I guess I'm trying to give you as much flexibility as possible, but within the law of.
I'll say that 639,000 would be the project. I don't think we would alter it. Anything less than that, I think we would want to rebid and reconsider. But to address this project, that 639 is the amount that I think is necessary to.
But
I guess what I'm saying
that's
is
the reduced amount.
that's the
not
reduced
total
amount.
Design
Yeah,
amount.
right. The original bid for the project
793.
was $793,400. So that is a significant savings, and again, accomplishes the intent. But I wouldn't foresee us adjusting the project any more than the 639.
Plus the additional 31 or I'm sorry, the number in their packet is 706.
Yeah, and
that's
I've-
the Bayberry section plus
That's
the
right,
reduced
but-
East Dogwood section.
By
Right.
taking Bayberry out of the equation, it gets us to 639, and you can still consider Bayberry later.
So,
As a change order.
Correct.
So I guess my question was if we just accept the contract or the bid price and then you gives you greater flexibility to negotiate within that, or do you don't need that, is what you're saying?
I don't, yeah,
Okay.
I think it would be cleaner to award the contract
At the reduced rate.
at yes.
Paul?
We've worked with Barn Hill before, right?
Yes.
Okay. And is there some reason that they were like $100,000 cheaper than the next bid?
You know, that's always a good question, and it's almost always a question because there seems to be a gap. And the explanation I can give is more than anything, I think it's timing. A lot of it is the where they are in their work schedule. The project was bid on unit price, and so there's not a lot of difference in fixed things like asphalt and stone, and those unit prices are pretty close. But I think where say, Fred Smith, for example, would have an increase is because they've got other work that they're doing. They don't have the ability to do this as easily as maybe Barn Hill does. So they have to, it's going to cost them more in other areas like the manpower and equipment and things like that to take from other jobs. But that is my convoluted way of saying it's timing. I think Barn Hill has the time and ability to do the project. The other folks would have to move some things around, I think, to make it work.
Rob, any questions? The question I had is, this contract would be let and then the work would be done before Memorial Day, let's
Correct.
say? If we were to do a second bid package, and which is, we're now up to like 300,000, and we may at the retreat decide we want to do more, maybe put some other amount on top of that. Is it possible to let another contract that could also be done before Memorial Day, or are we talking about a project for the fall?
No, I think we would be talking about a project. I don't know that it would be finished by Memorial Day. We have gone past in some overlays. But it would be a project that I would want to we could get under contract this before the end of the year. And
Before, in this fiscal year, before
Yes,
June 30?
correct.
Okay.
The reason for that, I think, too, is just moving equipment, taking it out and bringing it back. There's a cost associated with that. So in other words, if we could get it all done at once, in theory, the equipment's already there.
Correct.
So the corrected number is 639.
It's 639, 698.20.
I'll make a motion to issue a notice of award to Barnhill for the amount of 639, 698.20 and authorize the town manager to enter in a contract for specified street repairs.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
We have a second. Just one last time, any further questions, discussion? So we'll definitely be talking about streets on March the 4th.
Yeah, but why was the decision made to take Bayberry out?
Because of the timing of your retreat. The Bayberry was something that I wanted to get more bang for the buck, wanted to be able to expand the work for the price. And by waiting, we could still do it, but it gives you the opportunity to see where Bayberry falls with the other streets conditions, and maybe that money should be spent somewhere else because of conditions of other streets.
And my understanding is it still could be added after the retreat through the
Right.
change order of this contract.
Change order would take care of it if we decide after looking at all the streets as a whole, it looks like Bayberry actually falls within the range of, we ought to be able to overlay it and get it done.
Are we getting resident requests from Bayberry?
No,
Okay.
I can't.
We are for East Ogden.
But we are
We are
for
for
East.
Yeah, I was going to say measured against East Dogwood, no.
Okay. All right. We have a motion and a second. Hearing no further discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say no. Motion carries. Thank you,
Thank you.
Cliff.
Thank you.
All right. No public hearing, that went away. So we're down to public business. You want me to go first?
Sure.
Okay. I just wanted to talk about and encourage anyone who would like to attend the mayor's chat, which is on Tuesday, February 17th, 1 week from today. We're going to start at 4:30 and hopefully be here as long as people want to chat, but not putting any undue stress on our staff. It's a low-key, sit around the table opportunity to chat. All we ask is that you don't dominate the conversation. We accommodate everyone who shows up. All the council members are invited, and no action is taken. It is an opportunity for listening, speaking, exchange of conversation. Okay, so that's February 17th at 4:30. I just want to say, our fire department and our police department, based on, I say it every time, but you guys are just rocking. And I just want to say how much you are appreciated, because you do it all, and we appreciate you. Okay, Rob?
There's been continued work on the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. For those of you who watched the Super Bowl had a big promo piece. The state's getting involved in the county. We have meetings almost every month now. The big event will be in April to kick it off. And at last council meeting, we had some folks in from Public Affairs in Manio who gave a presentation, and that has been approved also by at the county level with the county commissioners. So you're going to see more and more things regarding the anniversary of the signing of the Declaration, both nationally, statewide, county-wise, and hopefully town-wise. And we have an upcoming meeting with that, and there'll be additional marketing. I'd just like to add, too, I'm the town's representative on Current TV. Perhaps the next meeting we can put on the agenda, do a little tutorial on Current TV, because people just really don't know what's out there. And, just kind of take them through. I mean, the mayor's done a chat, I've done a chat. We have other videos that you can actually just search right on Southern Shores, and they're out there. Or if you have an idea that your septic field is not doing well, you can go and you can look at a video to kind of assess that. There's an inordinate amount of stuff also historically that are out there that the other towns are doing. And they're usually very short. You can find them on YouTube, or you can go and get on to the site directly. And they've got a new server, and things are not buffering as much. So it's a worthwhile endeavor if you really want to find out what's going on locally. So perhaps we can add to the agenda a tutorial on that so folks can see it.
Very good. Thanks, Ron. Matt?
Yes, we had a very successful, maybe attended by 35 or 40 people, presentation on the 27th for the Entry Corridor Committee. And we have a follow-up meeting on February 24th at 9 a.m. for next steps portion. So I encourage everybody to take a look at the website associated with it and the report that was put out thus far.
And the boat club in April.
Yes, we were talking to present to the boat club in the GAM in April, and I believe it is the 16th, but I'm not 100% certain on that.
Gotcha. Okay. You'll keep us updated.
Liz emailed me this morning about it. So.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Paula?
Nothing really to report, except I was snowed into Louisville, where I do have a snow shovel and a snow blower. And then I was snowed out of the Outer Banks and couldn't get in here. So, but I came in a couple of days after the snow expecting it to be horrible, and it wasn't. It was really, this place was in good shape. So when you see a big city clean up, they've got lots of equipment, and I know there were struggles here. So I really appreciate the efforts of Public Works and the police department and the fire department and the town manager and everybody who got together, and because by the time I got back, things were pretty much back to normal. And I know it took a lot of work.
Very good. Oh, and I forgot to announce our next meeting is Wednesday, March the 4th, because the election is on Tuesday, March the 3rd. So that the voting will be taking place here at the Pitt Center. So we'll meet Wednesday, March the 4th at 10 a.m. And we do plan to have a retreat/workshop in the afternoon, starting about 1 or 1:30, because we'll take a break for lunch after the town council meeting. Of course, the public is invited to the retreat and the council meeting. And that's all I got. I think that's it. Motion to adjourn. Thank you all.